What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Welcome back. I feel like I'm super far. Hold on. Hold up. Hold on. Not too much because I still feel like I'm so far, y'all. I know I might be doing the most, but I'm trying to make sure I can see me. Okay, this is gone. Can y'all see me? Okay, this looks better. Anyways, today I've been tagged by Darnaya Darice for a first favorite tag. Let's get into it. Favorite reader, that's who you are. Traveling near, traveling far. Through every chapter, you're the star. Favorite reader, that's who you are. Okay, so Darnaya Darice, I'll put her information up on the screen. Tag me in a video where it's a challenge, and I'll also put that information in the description where you say you pick an author or a few, and you say what your first book that you read by them is, and then your favorite. So I got my notes here, the author's names, and I'm just going, let's just jump in. The first one is James Baldwin. The first book I read by James Baldwin was The Fire Next Time. My favorite book so far, I haven't finished his complete catalog, but my favorite so far is Giovanni's Room. Yeah, that's my favorite so far. Even though The Fire Next Time is good. Is that my favorite? I would still say Giovanni's Room. So that's what we're going to go with that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Then we have Zora Neale Hurston. The first book I read by her was Their Eyes Were Watching God. That's also my favorite book that I've read by her so far. It's just something about it that's like nostalgic for me. Like, I truly feel like I could just be sitting on the porch, just like watching all this happen, or like hearing the story be told, my auntie telling, my mama or something like that. So I don't know. That's my favorite. It's my first and my favorite. The next one is Shakespeare. I debated putting him on here, but I have read all of his stuff. So I was like, you know what? I know a lot of people don't like Shakespeare. I do. I like his writing. Anyways, the first thing I read about Shakespeare, and I really had to dig deep to see like what the first thing was. And I'm 99% sure the first thing I remember reading from him. If I read something else before this, I don't remember. But I do remember in the 7th grade, we read Macbeth. And I think that's the first thing I read from him. I think. I could be wrong. But I feel like though Macbeth is up there for me. And I did make a video where I tier ranked all of his plays. But my favorite is so hard. That's another reason why I almost didn't put this on here. Because I feel like I got a top 5. But if I had to choose, and I know I'm in a minority here, I'm picking Taming of the Shrew. It's just something about that that's just like always stuck with me. I don't know. And I never hear people agree with me on that point, but that's what I'm doing because it's my thing. So I'm picking Taming of the Shrew for my favorite Shakespeare play. Next, we have Stephen King. Stephen King is something. The first thing I ever read from Stephen King was actually On Writing. I read that years and years ago. That's his nonfiction work about writing. But I feel like my favorite thing from Stephen King is actually The Green Mile. I would say that's my favorite. Next, we have Steinbeck. The first thing I read from Steinbeck in high school was Of Mice and Men. What's my favorite thing? It's East of Eden. If I had to choose right now, I haven't finished all of his stuff, but what I've read so far is East of Eden. That's my favorite. Next, we have Richard Wright. The first thing I read from him was Native Son. And my favorite thing is Native Son. I almost said Black Boy. It's close, but I'm still going with Native Son. To me, that's what I'm choosing. It just barely beat out Black Boy for me, but I'm still going with Native Son. Next, we have Percival Everett. The first thing I read from Percival Everett was James, and my favorite thing is James so far. I haven't made it through his entire catalog, but so far it's my favorite. Next, we have Toni Morrison. I also debated whether I should put her on here or not because, like, I have a top 5. Oh, but picking one is just hard. Okay, the first thing I read was The Bluest Eye. It was the first one that I read. My favorite, I want to cheat and name all 5, but since I didn't do that with Shakespeare, I'm not going to do that here either. I'm going to try to be fair. If I absolutely had to pick right in this moment, I would say Song of Solomon. That's always in my top 3. Definitely, obviously in my top 5, but it's always in my top 3. And I'm always trying to choose between, it don't matter. The number one that's winning in this one is Song of Solomon. Okay. Next, we have Toni Cade Bambara. The first thing I read from her was The Salt Eaters, and it's my favorite thing. So far, I read The Salt Eaters and Gorilla My Love. I will be doing a review on that short story collection. It was good, but The Salt Eaters was still my favorite. Next, we have Octavia E. Butler. The first thing I read was Parable of the Sower. It's my favorite thing as well. Parable of the Sower. I just feel like, while I enjoy all of her work, like for most people on this list, I enjoy all of their work. But to me, it was the most impactful so far. I haven't finished her entire catalog. Next, we have S.A. Cosby. The first thing I read from him was Blacktop Wasteland. And my favorite is Blacktop Wasteland. And that's probably also not what I usually hear when people rank it. But to me, it was my favorite one. Okay. Next, we only got 3 left. Next, we have Daniel Black. My first thing I read from him was Perfect Peace. And my favorite book from him was Don't Cry for Me. So far, that's my favorite. Okay, John Williams. The first thing I read from John Williams was Stoner. And that's also my favorite book from him so far is Stoner. I think he has one more like lesser book. I read 3, his most popular 3, but I'm pretty sure he has one more lesser known book or play or something. And I haven't read that. But right now, Stoner's my favorite. And lastly, we have Bernice L. McFadden. The first book I read from her was Sugar. I almost didn't put her on here either because I'm like, I feel like I need to read like 3, 4, 5 more books to be able to like say that this one is my favorite. But I'm trying to be fair, and I haven't read most of all of these. I haven't finished every person's catalog on this list. So to be fair, I'm just going to judge it off what I read. Sugar was my first. And I really liked it. It was like my favorite for a while. And then like I still kind of want to make it my favorite, but like based on the book alone. But if I'm taking everything into consideration, I'm going to say my favorite is Nowhere Is a Place. Just because I feel like so much of it resonated with me on like a different level. I just feel like it resonated a little bit more to me. So that's why I'm choosing Nowhere Is a Place as my favorite. Yeah, I think that's it. This video was quick. I feel like I need a whole part 2. Cut part 2. Dang, that's it, y'all. Let me think. Do I have anybody else I want to throw on here at the last minute? Now I'm like, who else have I read multiple books by? Let's see. I don't know. I mean, I've got people on here where I've read like 2 of their books, but I don't know. We just gonna leave it at that for today. just to be fair. That's it, y'all. Like I said, I'll put the information down to the challenge. Thank you for tagging me, girl. I put your information up here again if y'all want to check out her original video. And yeah, that's it. Maybe I'll do this again at another time when I like stack up some more authors that I've read a whole lot of books from. And now that I'm thinking about it, there are some. I could honestly do this with my nonfiction reads too. Because now I'm thinking about it. There are some where it's like multiple books by one author, but I'm not going to do this and do that in this video. That's it for today, y'all. Let me know if you read any of these and if any of the authors, like you can tell me out of the authors who's your first and favorite book, and let me know if you gonna do it too so I can watch your video. Let's see y'all on the next one.
Pages turning soft as silk, stories flowing like warm milk. A journey starts with every line, worlds unfolding in your mind. Bookmarks falling where dreams collide. Every cover's got a tale inside. Favorite read.